What's up, y'all? My name is Kyla and you're watching Kay's Corner. So today I am making a new garment. I've actually already made 2 of them that I did not show the process of. So this right here is a medley of, what is this called? Velvet. It's a medley of stretched velvet fabric. Oh wait, that's not the right way. So see, it stretches that. Actually, this technique is something that I tried, I believe this was 2020. So hello, 2023. We back to this. This is actually called improv quilting. That's the method that it is. And what you do is you literally just take random pieces of fabric, which usually with quilting is cotton, but who says you can't do it with something else? So I decided to try some improv quilting. I remember doing it. I remember when I did it, I was doing it just because I needed to like get in a sewing groove. I was just trying stuff and I was just like, hey, I'm finna try this little improv quilting. And I remember actually loving the process of doing it. There was no thinking to it, aka improv. And yeah, so this is what it looks like. Let me give you a good, it's a very interesting shaped thing. And what I'm going to do is now I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to continue to add random pieces and get a big enough fabric to then make an item. My original idea was to do a dress out of this, but we're going to see. I'm going to improv it out. I'm going to keep, sewing and making it as big of a fabric as I can. I have lots more. See? Oh. Now the thing is that I have actually a lot more squares because originally I made another dress that was a patchwork style velvet dress, and I cut all of the rest of my fabric into squares. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm mad that I did that because as you can see, this is not a bunch of squares, it's all different shapes. So because I cut them all into squares, that kind of limits the shapes that I can possibly get. Now, take this for example. These, I don't know if you could tell, but they used to be squares. But what I did was, because it was a whole attached piece, but I got that piece and I cut it into different ways so that, it'll still kind of give the vibe that I'm trying to get, but it's definitely going to shift the dynamic of my improv velvet patchwork made fabric. So I'm just gonna have to, thug it out and figure out a way to make it look not like a square, because I don't want it to be a square. Yeah, so I'll be back and we're gonna get into that.
Hey y'all, so I wanted to do something a little different. Instead of putting music over the Speedy Gonzalez parts, just a heads up, I do record these in time-lapse mode because it takes up less space on my phone, but sometimes I try to slow it down as slow as possible so you can actually see what I'm doing. So I want to actually explain what I'm doing for a change. Right here, this is just me adding extra fabric to the pre-made one that I already had. I just needed to make it slightly longer so that it can be a good length for the dress. But I'm going to go into how I made it from the start right about now. So, okay, you can see right here, I'm assessing what fabrics and shapes do I have. I'm placing them out, and placing them out will help me figure out where can I pin these fabrics so that they can become correct shapes that are going to have seams like what I'm sewing now. That's an easy seam to sew instead of trying to sew some weird seam that's, shaped in a way that's just going to make it harder for you to sew what you're doing. You want to make it as easy as possible, and that's what laying the fabric out first helps with. You just want to map it out, basically. You do that with anything. And you just want to take your time while you do it, because sometimes you want to make sure you're putting the right stretch grains with the right stretch grains. That's something that I learned along the way, because once you turn it over, you'll see that it's puckering, and it's probably because it's two pieces that stretch different ways.
Hello. So I spent about 2 hours doing the improv quilting of this velvet, and this is about how much I got done. To be exact, well, I was gonna measure it for y'all, but I don't see my measuring tape. Oh. So I got about 22 by 16. So I was able to make about 2/3 of a yard. Yeah, about 2/3 of a yard, because 2/3 is like 24 inches. Actually, I'm pretty much done, except at this bottom here, I'm going to make it less jagged and more like crisp like this. It won't be exactly like this one is, because obviously that's just the way the cut of that scrap of fabric was made. So yeah, it's gonna be more of a, just gonna get it to where like it's a little more leveled instead of like and then, you know, this was the first piece, so to compare them in size at least. Oh yeah, so it's a little bit wider, the first one, the original one that I did. So yeah, I'm actually going to make it into a tube dress. Originally, like 2021, surprisingly, I made a similar dress with multiple squares of, you know, of the same colors that's in this. Yeah, so I'm gonna make another tube dress, slightly different style maybe, or maybe the same exact style, but instead it's gonna be like this. I've been trying to figure out what I wanted to name this dress, because the way all of the velvet and whatnot is coming together is giving me like this stained glass type of ordeal. But I'm just like, I can't name it the stained glass dress. Like, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the vibes of, you know, my past creations nor my brand. So I'm not gonna name it the stained glass, but we'll see. We'll see what I come up with. The last one was Synergy. So and it's the sister dress, so it's got to be something similar to that. And this one is more like a frenzy, so maybe it can be like the opposite of Synergy. What's the opposite of Synergy? Synergy is like whoosh, it's aligned, everything coming together when everything's going out of chaos. So yeah, I'm getting somewhere. Yeah, and maybe once the dress is done, then I'll be able to come up with the name. I'm going to do my best to show the process of finishing up the dress, but honestly, I'm not going to make no promises on that. Hopefully I can.
So I actually was able to record pretty much the rest of the way. Right here you can see that, you know, I'm not pinning it like you normally would. You normally put the pattern on top of the fabric, but this time I put the fabric on top of the pattern, and that's because I wanted to make sure that it was stretching, you know, properly across the span of the pattern. Because like I was saying earlier, when you got all of these different, you know, you got one that's stretching 5 inches horizontally, but the other one stretches 5 inches vertically, and then you put those two together, now they're stretching in weird directions. So that's why it was like that. Right here I'm just, you know, pinning fronts to back. This is actually like, this is, the dress is made after this. Well, of course not done, but like these are the two pieces that I've been working my way to get to. And like I told y'all earlier, it took 2 hours just for me to make that panel to be able to make this. So thankfully back in 2020 I pre-started this project.
Okay, so I wanted to show y'all, well, this is one of the other dresses. It's too big for the mannequin, so it looked a little wonky on her, but anyways, the focus is here. So it's a dress now. I'm gonna pick it up a little bit just so y'all can see. Bam. All right, it's a dress now. Anyways, so it's gonna be a halter, and you know, it gives that swoop boob type of deal. Of course, the mannequin doesn't have boobs for real. And then right now, so something like that. Yeah. And then I'm gonna make it a halter top. But yeah, I like it. It's very to the point. Like, It's letting the I know it's weird that y'all can't see me. It's letting it's letting the pattern do what it needs to do without, you know, doing too much. Like, you don't need to make no extravagant constructive garment when the pattern looks crazy already, you know. It's real wonky, real wild. I like it. I'm gonna add the lining because, you know, we do not want those, you know, ugly edgings to be showing. So yeah, I'll be back.
All right, so the lining actually gave me, you know, a little tussle. It was like, no, we're not gonna let you finish. Not that fast, babe. Anyway, so, you know, you put the lining together, right sides together, and flip it over. Boom. But the problem that I was having was trying to figure out how I wanted to hem the whole thing. So that's what really gave me the issues. And this right here is me flipping around the straps, putting those things in. Those gave me no issues. If you don't have one of these little tools, please get you one. Don't use the paper. What I always call a safety pin a paper clip, but don't use the safety pin. Just get you one of those tools. It looks like a crochet hook. All right, this is the part where I'm making the wrong move. So right here you can see I'm like pulling it out, but they're attached and it's not correct. I try my best to slow this down so you can see how it was wrong, but it was wrong. So then I had to seam rip all of that. Please guys, like, me and the seam ripper, we're more than besties. We're conjoined at the hip. But this is the final product. I've talked y'all to death. I called it the Frenzy dress, and make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe